Buybacks over debt repayment. Well, that's one narrative that's potentially going to be pushed around MPW after the latest earnings call. Let's get right into some commentary around this company. As I'm recording this video, they just had earnings yesterday. The stock price shot up here by 6.38% on the day. We saw some increase as a result. The numbers overall were okay. They were not super strong. I will get into them here in a little bit, but with roughly 31% of the float shorted here in this case, even average news is enough to send the share price higher in this case. We saw that normalized funds from operations was 13 cents a share, 96% of rent collected in this case. That's down 1 cent from the last quarter. It was 14 cents and then 14 cents the quarter before that as well. So the downgoing trend of results per share here is continuing for MPW, and we can see that, alright, the full rent payments are not kicking in yet. They have this 6 months deferred and then 6 months half payment and then full payment after that for new operators, and that's going to keep a lid on performance for some time, especially if you're just looking at the numbers, if you have some API at a trading firm that's plugging in the numbers and then making trading decisions based on that. But roughly 200 million more in rent that could be collected with full rent payments, but I don't think we should give management the benefit of the doubt in this case and just price this in as expected future cash flow, especially given the track record. Well, then good old Mr. Ed can't be frustrated with the stock price as he seems to be right now. They haven't earned the trust on the market to be able to get that higher valuation expected on future performance. There's still a lot of execution risk in this case. Big news of the earnings, the buybacks. Buyback program, very unclear. There were some questions from analysts, the first one from JP Morgan and then a follow-up question on it as well. Because where is this money going to come from for the buyback program? Will it be debt? Are they going to take on debt? Is it going to be from operations? Where is this money gonna come from? Because let's take a look at the 8K filing here directly from Investor Relations. We can see in financial information regarding debt maturity. We can see that in 2027 we have a secured term loan and some notes that are due. So this is 200 million secured term loan at the rate of 6.5 roughly, and 1.4 billion that's coming due here in 2027. So a lot of debt that is maturing here in the near future. And analysts commented on this as well, why do the buybacks and why not focus on the debt side of things? If we look at just the balance sheet in this case, we can see that in terms of the debt to equity ratio, it's roughly, they have 1/3 equity and 2/3 debt in this case when we look at the balance sheet. So not the strongest of balance sheets indeed. And see if we have it here. Here we have it. Assets 11.7 billion. So net investment in real estate assets 11.1, and then total assets roughly 15 billion, so $14.9 billion in total assets here for the latest quarter. And then we can see total liabilities 10.2 billion, 9.6 of this just in terms of debt, you recognize this number if you looked closely at the debt maturities. A lot of that. Remember, big numbers being due in 2027, so this puts some risk on the stock. It's not nice to have large leverage in this case. It swings both ways. If capital is expensive, it puts a dampen on results, and it's going to keep the cash flow lower, because there's going to be a lot of cash flow from financing, a lot of interest payments that is going to make free cash flow lower. There's going to be less cash to pay dividend from, and it's a little bit of a dark cloud that's hanging over. This is a common leverage ratio for companies. However, with the current deferred rents not fully collecting yet, well, then this warrants a cheaper stock price. And we can see that management is commenting that we're seeing lower costs because there is no stock-based compensation yet, because that only kicks in if stock price here reaches $7 American, as we've learned previously. And of course, management might be frustrated, might talk about a buyback program, wanting to bring share price higher, but that's not how the stock market works. You have to earn a higher share price through company performance, and in this case it's not warranted yet. They could increase dividend, they could do share buybacks, they could repay debt. There's a lot of things that they can do with this capital, and the question that the market is asking, that Wall Street is asking, is a buyback the most prudent way to use that capital in this case? But all in all, this company is continuing to perform okay. It's the same as last quarter. They're doing okay. It's not terrible, it's not fantastic. We have to wait some more before this company will increase in share price, in my opinion, at least until the summer here of 2026, before we're going to see any movement. I think we're gonna be stuck waiting here, but at least there's very good dividend yield at current prices, and I don't think that they will cut the dividend from 8 cents. I think they will continue to pay it out here for next quarter. So Q4 dividend, I predict, is likely to be 8 cents, and then I predict that Q1 dividend is going to be 8 cents as well. Yes, indeed, if they do buybacks and we have less shares, then the free cash flow per share, normalized funds from operations on a per share perspective, is going to be a lot better, and well, then it could warrant larger dividend payments. But then once again, they also have this debt to deal with. They could refinance if interest rates get lower. If we see lower interest rates, that's very, very positive for MPW. But we've been waiting on that for quite some time. We're seeing some actual rate cuts now, but it's not nearly enough to warrant large gains here in share price. All in all, my judgment for the quarter is that this was a stalemate, no major changes in the situation. A small gain on a okay result. That's been it covering MPW here, doing an update on the stock. And as always, hope you guys make a ton of money, whatever investments you decide to make. Take care now. Bye bye.